Next time.
Huh?
I'll try it next time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
I wasn't even ready.
Oh, what have you been doing? I thought you were getting ready for the show.
I was posting to our site. Is what I've been doing this whole time.
But I thought you
and
were
then
also
we got
getting ready.
No, then we got to talking about your lighting drama.
My bad. I think it's dark.
And then you just suddenly went live. I didn't even say, "Are you ready?"
I told you I was going.
You usually ask me if I'm ready.
Babe, are you ready?
But doesn't matter now. You're on live and they're listening to us fight about it.
I'm not fighting. Who are you fighting with? It's like, why are you hitting yourself?
Anyways, long show.
I feel like our lighting has changed for no describable reason other than it looks horrible. So I'm trying to fix it, and I don't think I can. Maybe it doesn't look bad. I think it does, but it could just be me.
I think for the 3 people that watch us, they're fine.
All right. Oh, because see, look how bright it was over here, like in these other episodes, just a month ago or 2 months ago. And then suddenly in March, it got dark.
Maybe you didn't pay your bill.
No, I paid it.
All right, let's move on with this. I got things to do in my life. Let's go.
You though?
I don't care about the. Yeah, I do actually. I don't care about this lighting drama that you have.
I care about the lighting. I care. All right, guys, we have a wide variety of movies to talk about all over the place. And I think our reviews are going to be all over too, because, wow, some things. Okay, where do we start, babe? Where do you want? You want to just go in random order?
You say, boss.
All right, let's go here. So this movie came out a few weeks ago. I think we're late on the bus on this one.
No, it came out a couple of months ago. And then it's coming out next week on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay. We're in time for the Blu-ray then.
And it's already on Peacock, I believe it is. Or it's a Paramount Plus. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Okay, tell me.
I believe it's on Peacock. Oops, I guess I should actually open the review to tell you that.
Well, I was going to share a link. I'll share a link for you.
Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't help me tell them what I was going to say, does it?
I don't know.
It's on Peacock. So it's available now on Peacock or digital if you want to rent it if you don't have it.
Well, there
but
you
it will be on Blu-ray on Tuesday. And if you go to our website...
There you go, HollywoodMatrimony.com.
You can actually get a chance to win a copy of it.
Oops, I don't know what I just did to my screen.
Tell us what the movie's about.
So this movie stars Woody Harrelson, and it's a man who gets himself, he's a coach in the old NBA, gets himself in trouble, and gets sentenced to community service teaching this awesome group of kids.
Now, to be fair, he was not a coach in the NBA.
What was
the lower tier.
Oh, what was...
semi-pro league.
Oh, sorry.
But anyway, and it reteams him with one of the Farrelly brothers. I believe it's Bobby Farrelly, who he worked with the Farrelly brothers years ago. I believe in 2000 something or other. It doesn't matter. On the movie Kingpin, which I love. The movie is hilarious. There's only one Farrelly. That's why it's not the Farrelly brothers. Excuse me. But it's a different kind of movie, and if this one it's a remake of a Spanish film of the same name. This dog over here staring because now he probably wants to go outside now that we're doing a show. Come here. I'll get him. You talk about the movie. I'll be back.
All right. Anyways. No, don't leave me.
And I'm never returning.
This is such an unprofessional show. Anyway, I think it's really funny. He gets sentenced to 90 days community service. He goes and he works with this group of kids, and they're called the Friends is the name of their team, and they're who knew? I guess I didn't know. I didn't pay attention. You know, there's this league that they're in, and they're trying to make it to the championship, and each one of them has special issues that they're working with, but at the same time, each one of them brings something special to the team. And, you know, throughout, he's just trying to figure out his way through, trying to teach his normal method that he would, and that doesn't work with them. So he has to figure out a new way to do things. So I think all around it's really good because each person in the movie has a moment to shine. I also applaud them for their commitment to actually use people who perhaps have Down syndrome. There's one that had a traumatic brain injury. There's all sorts of people in this, and they made a commitment to use people who actually had those issues, not to just hire random actors. So I think it's a really heartwarming and fun movie. I think it is a good family movie, and it would be a good one to share with your kids. And it'll open up some really good conversations, I think, about what it is to deal with people who are different than you and how to treat them, pretty much the same. They're just people like we are. But sometimes, when you don't know, you don't know. So I think it's a really good film. And then we'll wait for the mister to get back and give his thoughts. And he'll probably repeat what I said because, I'm awesome that way. We'll see what he has to say. In the meantime, I am really looking at the lighting. It's an issue. We'll see.
Sorry, we had a sick dog situation.
Oh no, is he okay? Did he come back?
Yeah, but I had to do some cleanup.
Oh, are you okay, baby?
He wasn't feeling well. That's why he needed to go outside. So
he was telling us.
Anyway.
Go ahead. I was just sharing how I like that they made a commitment to actually hire individuals who may have Down syndrome, or the one guy that had a traumatic brain injury. They didn't just hire random people.
Well, I don't know if you told him or not, but that was actually a stipulation to remake the movie from the original director
guy.
That said you can't change the ending, and you have to hire all special needs people, and except for Woody Harrelson. But that could be debated, I guess. But I love this movie.
I did too. I was saying, I think it's also a good family film to share with your kids. And to talk about it.
You get it. There are a couple of moments that talk about sex, and there's some sex related things, not nudity and perversion or anything.
It's just funny.
It just depends on, there's one guy that constantly talks about his girlfriend, and he always says, "We do the sex moves."
Yeah, but I think it's funny.
My favorite in the whole movie is Showtime. It's this one guy. He always does back shots like this. And then he does his dance like this every time, whether he makes it or not. And he
doesn't even look.
Yeah, he never looks to see if he makes it. There's a running gag, and there's even a moment where he misses a lot, obviously, because they're the bad team. There's a moment where they're all excited because he hit the rim, and they're like, "Why are y'all so excited? He missed." He goes, "But he hit the rim."
Yeah, it's hilarious.
My other favorite part about that dialogue is there's an earlier moment too where they're talking about it. And they're like, "Has he ever made the shot?" And he's like, "No, never. But he's due."
Yeah, right.
It's so funny.
My favorite is the girl. You see the girl in the poster.
She got the attitude.
Madison Tevlin. She is awesome. She's so funny. She has great comedic timing. I just think she's fun.
She is. She comes right in, and here's one of the things I said in my review about it. This movie, like, you could look at it in different points of view, and I'm sure there'll be somebody out there that says it looks like they're poking fun at them. But for me, it looks like they're kind of just letting their joyous personalities shine through. It's hilarious watching them, but not because they're funny to watch, but because they're just so fun to watch. Because they're so happy and joyful, and it seems like they're letting them be them.
Yes.
And obviously there's scripts and stuff, but it would be curious to know if they just let them wing it and say certain things. And
that's what I was saying, that each person had a moment to shine. Every single person in the cast.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you can't help but smile watching this movie because it's really funny. And the Farrellys have been really well known, I believe, of bringing special needs people. I want to say that I read somewhere that they had a special needs relative or a sibling or something in that. I don't remember the story, but every movie they've done for the most part has had some sort of special needs.
We talked about this in the last movie we just talked about with them.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. It's been a while.
Shoot.
But yeah, so I really love this movie. Yeah. There's one guy, I thought it was the same kid from Peanut Butter Falcon, but it wasn't him. If you haven't seen Peanut Butter Falcon, have you ever watched that yet?
I thought so, or no?
The one with Shia LaBeouf and the special needs guy and the wrestling?
Yeah.
If you've never seen it, that movie is outstanding.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, because we talked that they've been honored for their disability inclusion in their movies. Yeah, specifically. And they have a foundation that they work with. So, yeah, it's a big deal for them.
Yeah, this one's
I appreciate.
Yeah, this is not one that's like over the top like a lot of their movies they have done with like Me, Myself, and Irene really and Something About Mary. Yeah. But it does have it. It's funny. It's hilarious. I could watch this movie numerous times. The story is the same story you've seen a billion times about a down-on-luck coach getting somewhere they don't want to be. But the difference is Woody Harrelson's character is never really unlikable.
Correct.
Like, you shake your head at some of his decision making and way he acts, but he's never one that you're like, ugh, he's a jerk with redemption. He's just who he is. And even at the end, when it goes kind of the direction you think it's going to go, he's still the same. He grew because it was more about finding who he was.
Yeah.
Instead of letting this team find them. The team never changed. That's what I loved about it, is even the end of the movie, it doesn't have this big arc where suddenly the kids are different.
There's a little bit of growth, I guess.
There is, but they're still the same kids.
They're still them. They're always genuinely who they are.
They're making him grow into something better.
Yes, he becomes better because of it. Yeah. So I think it's a great movie. It's a really good one. So check it out. Are you okay if we go here?
I don't have my glasses on. I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Okay, friends.
I don't care the order today.
All right, we're going here.
So this next one is one that I was super excited to watch.
Yes.
It's not quite a Bollywood film.
No.
Or it doesn't seem like it is.
No.
But it has that same vibe. It's a movie called Polite Society. And it basically, the trailers really seem to be like a Bollywood, Hollywood infusion with coming of age story, a martial arts movie, comedy, whatever, and so we've been really excited to see it, and we finally got to see it. Man, I was disappointed. It's not a bad movie. I want to start there. It's not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie.
It is fun.
It does have your obligatory dance number. So I'm going to give it that.
But I will give him credit. The dance number fit to the story as opposed to the normal.
And that one girl's like, I loved her.
The normal Bollywood movies, they don't always fit. They just suddenly start happening.
This one went with the story. So did that make you happy?
It didn't bother me, because it happened. It was distraction. It was at a wedding.
It was great. But I agree with you.
I like the cast.
I like the main girl.
I actually liked all the cast. Even though the main villain lady, she's a great actress.
She's great at being a villain.
Is so over the top sometimes. She visually looks like a Disney villain.
Yes.
And I like the cast. The story is fine, but the first half of the movie is one movie, and then it becomes a whole different movie.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with you. I was disappointed a bit. It's not the movie I thought I was getting based on the trailer.
Yeah, I'm a little different than you on. It was the movie I thought I was gonna get, but in a different way, because I knew from the trailer that something was off on this other family, which was causing her to be the little karate uprising and the fights and all this stuff. But it kind of went silly.
Yeah.
Like, it was so far left field that it was kind of silly and dumb, and not enough that I could buy into to really save it from itself. Because the rest of the first half of the movie is this nice kind of generic coming of age story about this girl who wants to be a stunt woman, and with her sister who's trying to find her way, and then she's kind of afraid to lose her sister because she's now found her own life of doing other things, and she got bullies at school. So it's all these teen comedy, dramas, whatever, infused, but then she's also martial arts, and so she's doing karate fighting and stuff. So I'm like, man, this is a fun movie. And then it just does something else that did not need to be there in that way. They could have done some different things, still made the crazy villains. They could have still done something, not had done the weird stuff.
Yeah, it went a little weird. I think I didn't turn on Godzilla. Sorry, Godzilla. The other thing that I thought was kind of weird is that the karate class, everyone was actually paying attention and doing everything. So that's where I knew it was a movie.
That's how you know it's a movie class. If you've ever been,
everybody's like, kick.
Well, you also know there were no little kids in that class. If I had a group of people that age,
yes, if they were all teenagers, they might actually. No.
But to be also, in your point, like, I had 8 or 9 older teenagers and adults today, and they still misbehave.
Well, but we said we were going to on purpose because we hadn't seen each other together.
Okay, well, that doesn't make it okay.
But we knew ahead of time we were going to.
Okay, well, that means that all of you are going to be demoted for behavior issues.
But anyways, this wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. It was okay. I'm not saying it's bad. I agree with you. It's not a bad movie.
No.
It's just not what I thought. And so then I was like, oh, okay.
Well, and I think
somewhere in the middle, it got a little slow for me, too.
Yeah, it did. I
think you snoozed for a second.
Yeah, I did doze off.
But then it got back on track.
My biggest issue that I think would have saved this movie in a lot of levels was had the fights been better. They weren't horrible. They look like people that don't really have martial arts experience. But for a character that supposedly trains all the time and all that stuff, and she did fine. you know, I don't want to make it sound like I
Mhm.
expected this movie to be a Donnie Yen movie or anything. I didn't. But they kind of blended some wire work, and maybe it was the editing to the fights. I don't know, but they were very generic and nothing was overly memorable. It kind of, after the first fight, I was like, well, this is not going to be what I hoped for.
Well,
You know?
and then at least they did pull one of the gags that I appreciate. You know how in Indian movies suddenly somebody's gotten all wrapped up and they're like,
Oh.
ugh. They did one of those. So
Not
at
as
least they did.
overdramatic,
No, not
but
as
yeah.
dramatic, but they did do that. They did do obligatory dance number, and it was okay. I'm just gonna give it
Now,
an okay.
I will give it props for, I like that this movie exists.
Yes.
I like the culture. I like that it's not something that's trying to say, look, we're in the Indian Pakistani culture situation, because I think some of them are Pakistani in the movie, right?
I think so.
But they're basically just, it's kind of like the Miss Marvel show. This is just who these people are, and it's, you know, they're dealing with the culture. Like the main girl is kind of almost defying the culture because of what she wants to do with her life, and then there's the status symbols and all that stuff. So that element is really what appealed me to the movie, also infusing martial arts. And it just, I blame Bollywood because they've become well known for these really big over the top action spectacles. Yeah. And now you've made a movie that kind of fits in their realm, even though it's a Hollywood movie, and it didn't have the over the top spectacle of the fighting. And maybe that's what disappointed me, as I expected it to be bigger.
Yeah, well, in one user review on there's like, lower your expectations, and it's just fun.
Yeah, I didn't hate the movie, and it was fun. We laughed.
A lot of people are really excited about it, I think, because of the cultural representation, which I agree. I think that's what's most significant about this is, unlike RRR, which you have to read the subtitles, and this is actually in English, and it's merging their culture.
And they're in London, right?
Yeah, they're in London, but also with like your Taekwondo martial arts stunt thing. So I agree. Culturally, I think it's a significant film. I like the merging of the two things, because it's very accessible to us because we're martial arts people. So I like that we're bringing all of it in. It's more inclusive in that sense, but it's just not what I thought it was. So I was a little disappointed. It's okay though. It's not horrible at all. And you're right. The second half, once things start to happen, it gets really fun. To me,
yeah, it's a fun movie, but the fights don't get a lot better.
Well,
and it's another one of those issues too. It's a movie where everybody seems to know martial arts that doesn't fit for everybody to know. It's not like you watch American Ninja and now they're fighting tons of ninjas and stuff. You expect that stupidity.
But then
it's stupid in that movie too.
Yeah, but suddenly in this,
like everybody doing this thing.
Everybody knows how martial arts.
And the main girl is losing the fight almost every time. I'm like, what am I watching? It's like I'm watching the first Rocky fight over and over, you know, because Rocky loses in every movie the first time and comes back the second, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just like, I was so bummed. And you know what? And I walked into that movie, honestly, so excited, ready to write it as one of my top 10 of the year. That was in the back of my head. I'm like, wow, I can't wait to put this on my top 10. I was
just like, ooh, I'm going to get to see a girl in her full dress, but doing cool karate. Well,
that's what I'm saying. I was so sucked into the trailer and the idea of what they were doing that I was ready. Like, I was ready to come out and be like, this is one of my top 10. I can't wait to tell this. I was ready to wear
my cool Indian top that Niti got me when she went to India and like be on the show. But I'm like, no, it was Star Wars.
You should have still worn it.
It was just okay.
It still would have been worthy of wearing an outfit,
I guess.
But yeah, but sadly,
it's all right though.
I would watch it again, but it's like
maybe we need to give it another try now that we know the expectation are unreasonable expectations.
RRR, yeah, that's how they
RRR is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That is like number one.
Oh well, I hope everybody please. I hope people support the movie just because of. I give it props for what it tried to do.
Yes, it was fun, but it is not what I thought I was getting. It's okay.
It hits more on the comedy than it does on the martial arts.
Yes.
The main girl's fine. I liked her sister.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like I've seen her in something else. I think I want to give props to the best friends. They are the best. Oh, her best friends. Her two best friends. They are hilarious. The one little girl, the white girl. She makes the coolest faces,
and she's always confused.
It. She's always like, "What are we doing?" Oh well, it's okay. Is the baby okay?
Yeah, he's
right,
rolled over, sort of staring at me.
All right.
Anyway, Polite Society is in theaters now. If you want to see at least something different than everything else,
absolutely,
go watch Polite Society. We were the only people in the theater. That
we were, which is kind of sad.
It's awesome because we could.
we could just talk.
She could talk to me because I can't hear, but at the same time, it makes me sad that nobody was there to see it.
Oh, well. Maybe they'll all go later.
But it is probably a unique thing because I'm sure a lot of people saw it and assumed it was a big Bollywood 4-hour movie. And it was just a normal 2 hours.
Yeah.
So but it was Bollywood light.
It did have a dance.
Yeah, it did have the dance. Anyway,
check
it out in theaters.
Okay, friends. Next, The Black Demon.
All
I've been waiting for like 3 weeks to talk about this movie. I hope I can remember what it was.
So the next one, that The Black Demon, as she mentioned, it's basically based on a Mexican legend of a prehistoric. What's it called?
It's a giant killer shark. It's gonna be a megalodon. Correct.
Shark. It's supposedly.
Oh my gosh.
Exists out there. It stars Josh Lucas. Excuse me, and it's about an oil rig.
Yes, they're on an oil rig.
It's now leaking or something, and so they're trying to check it out, and then you find out that there's a shark there. And
no, babe, the Black Demon is there. It's not just any shark, friends. It is the Black Demon.
It's directed by Adrian Grunberg, who also directed the very underrated Rambo: Last Blood. And
such a good movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of people just don't like him. I don't understand why. But also Get the Gringo with Mel Gibson, which I love as well. And I also had a chance to interview him, which is on our website at
HollywoodMatrimony.com.
Talking about the making of the Black Demon, as well as a little bit about Rambo, because I had to fuse it in there. So I was kind of excited because we like anything with killer sharks.
Correct.
So what did you think?
I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it was as grandiose as I thought it was going to be for the telling of a legend like this. But once I got into the groove of what we were doing, because it feels really like gritty, a little step up from independent, but not big blockbuster. It's kind of in that middle set. But what I do like is the style. It's gritty and it's gray and it's kind of dark and dirty.
You do this with your
because
every time you say gritty, you got to do this with your fingers.
It's that feeling visually because it's not bright, until the very, very end, kind of last scene. It's dramatic at the end, like the rain comes and then suddenly it's like the sun is shining. Did you get that feeling?
Yeah.
Throughout it? It's very dark because of what's happening on the oil thing. We assume that the spirits are angry and the town is like abandoned and it's dark and there's nobody there. And it's like, where did everybody go? Everybody's disappeared, kind of like you're in this whole state of like, what the hell's going on throughout the whole movie? And that we're following him trying to figure out what's going on. And it's just that.
So I actually was a little underwhelmed by the movie. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
The movie itself was fine. I applaud it because it really dived into the culture of the Mexican legend and even the dialect of when they're saying the prayer and the things they're trying to do. They really tried to get all that stuff right. They could have easily, and when I was speaking with him, I brought this up, bringing in Josh Lucas, they could have easily ignored all the Hispanic culture because it's out in the water and just had one guy that said, oh, the Black Demon, and then the rest of it just be a shark attack movie.
Right.
They really tried to push that stuff, which that part I enjoyed. It's also, I think where it gets lost a little bit is it's a shark movie, creature feature kind of thing, infused with an environmental film.
Very environmental.
And I think that's, to me, the disconnect was, where it's not, neither one is a bad idea, but I think one overshadows the other a little bit because I never felt it went all in with the shark enough.
Yeah.
Like the moment you get the shark, I thought was really well done.
Yeah.
Because it's all CGI. And you never know what you're going to get with that because it could be a Sharknado situation. I thought it was well done. I thought they had some cool scenes with the shark. The shark does bring chaos and mayhem and the stuff. But for the runtime it had, I think it spent so much time talking about the oil spill and making that a priority over the shark itself and that being the killer. And it's not in a bad way. It just, to me, I couldn't get into either story because I'm too busy. Right as I get into one, it throws me over to the other one. And it's
and I had a different take on it. I feel like it was very connected, that because things were done on the oil rig and oil spilling out into the ocean, that's why the black demon came
I
as
got
a vengeful
that.
thing.
I got that, but see, that didn't connect to me like that. Like, I didn't feel like, I felt like it was the cause of that shark to show up, but it wasn't because of that the shark showed up. You know what I'm saying? It was more of a byproduct to me, like an earthquake cracked it open, the shark swam out.
I wonder if you missed something in the translation, baby, because during one of the things when they're doing the prayers or whatever to the weird statue things, he was saying that it requires a sacrifice if you want it to go away.
I got all that. I got that. It just didn't feel to me like that's what was happening.
Oh, see, and maybe I got into it because I believe in all the legends and the thing.
You're also, you assume I'm white, so I don't know anything.
No. I wanted to make sure it came across in the translation of some of the stuff they were saying and the subtitles. Was it enough?
No, it was fine. I got what was happening, what they were trying to do, and
I know you understand more Spanish.
I applaud the film for what it's doing and trying to be something different. I guess when you give me a poster like this one, where the shark is so prominent.
Yeah, you expect more shark.
In the trailer, the prominence was that smashing of this creature, and that's not what the film I got. I felt a little. It's probably like Polite Sight. It's not really the film I thought I was going to get. There was way more downtime than there was intensity of the fighting, because like that whole opening sequence or the opening half of it before we ever get to the shark stuff just seems to drag on, because we're dealing with the family, and I know you got to set up characters, but I felt like there's just so many things. Then they have that twist in it of the involvements and the things and why the spills happened and all this stuff that it's just, to me, there was just too many layers and not enough answers to resolution to get the shark to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? That was just
I know what you're saying. See, and I guess I had no expectation. I heard Mexican legend. I'm like, I'm in.
I know.
So I think that maybe that's why I liked it more.
Well, I was excited because of that same thing. It is what it was. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really.
I thought it was good.
It was one of those movies that I came out and just was like, huh, okay.
I thought it was good. I would watch it again, actually.
And I probably wouldn't, because I would probably come in while the shark stuff's happening and just watch that. Yeah. And then go back to make me a burrito and then come back that way.
But I appreciated that we were trying to deal with the environmental issues. I think there's family issues that are obviously there. I think there's the idea of him, he's just trying to build wealth and take care of them, but culturally she's like, that doesn't matter, because I think it's also that upbringing thing of like, hey, it doesn't matter, this is where we're from, whatever. I don't know, I think that was there. Then you have the guys that are your worker guys trying to save people and other people who weren't, and so you have that whole conflict, and you have the oil rig itself, then you have the shark thing, then you have all the people in town telling you weird things about what's going on, and nobody's really, I don't know, there is a lot happening, but I liked it, and I liked that we got to explore another thing, the black demon. Which they're saying sightings have been reported still.
I know. They supposedly told
they're saying this is like Mexican Jaws. Instead of a great white, it's a great black shark of 60 feet. Everybody says it's about 60 feet in length. I don't know. But anyway. That it's a megalodon. Who knows?
All right.
It says it's black as midnight, and its piercing eyes are the only things you can see. It has overturned boats and attacks whales.
The problem is, it sounds like about a whole bunch of drunk fishermen.
Well, that's what people think. So
anyway, Black Demon's in theaters now,
but it's only in the California, release. Mexico, Baja Gulf. So as long as you don't go there, you're safe.
Oh, I thought the showings are only in the Gulf.
No,
it's probably limited release. So just be on the lookout, check it out.
It was okay.
If you like shark movies, give it a chance.
Another one that was all right.
Give sharks a chance.
All right, let me talk about this right here. This is the new Hulu movie of the week.
That ain't me.
This is the movie Clock on Hulu. It is available now, the Hulu movie of the week. And it stars, I got to remember what her name is. Oh, my goodness. I just went back. Blank. It is Diana Agron.
Hold on. I have to interrupt with a breaking news.
Breaking news.
I just received a text from my son.
Yes.
I'm going to read it publicly. He's referencing his child, our granddaughter.
Okay.
He said, this kid just ran over and put something in my pocket, then ran away laughing and said, look in your pocket.
Oh, no.
I reached in to find fake poo.
Yes. You gave her the fake poo as just like, here, take
I
this
have to
home.
tell that story tomorrow at the seniors.
Oh my gosh. And then
Anyway.
a couple of weeks ago, she put it on the couch and went and got her mom and said, ooh, poop on the couch. So she thought the dog pooped on the couch. So she's getting paper towels and stuff to go clean it. And she walks over there and the kid's watching from around the corner laughing, and it's the fake poop.
You're going stinky. the kid's 2. She's fixing to be 3.
Hilarious.
Anyway.
Except right now she's in booger mode. I don't like that.
All right, back to the movies.
She's a booger kid. Okay, anyways, it stars Diana Agron, who most of you will remember from Glee.
From what?
Glee.
Oh.
Glee. She's the girl from Glee, but the blonde girl from Glee. Anyway, so basically
Why would they have a whole class on a television show?
Tell me that, Aaron.
Aaron.
Okay, so basically the premise of the story is it's a woman who has never really felt the urge to have children, and all her friends around her are having kids, and then she gets into this whole discussion of her biological clock, and maybe her biological clock is just not working. So she ends up going to this fertility type clinic. They do a lot of therapy. Fertility. They do some hormonal therapy and finally an implant to help her get pregnant and to feel the urge also that to have that ticking of the clock there to have a child. But once she begins doing the medication and the implant and stuff, things start to change. And she begins having some crazy hallucinations and just everything's wonky. She begins to kind of lose control of just her emotions and her perception of reality, quite honest. Everything goes a little wonky. So, I love this movie, guys. It's so fun. I want to watch it again. As someone who never really wanted to physically have a child, I can kind of get it. There is that pressure from society to have kids. You know, once we got married, I was a little older once we got married. I was 30 when we got married. So it wasn't very, soon after that the family's all like, when are y'all having kids? And I'm like, we already have 2 kids. Why do we need more? And it became a thing. I think also culturally for Latin people, you're supposed to have like 5 kids or 6 kids or something, right? So it became a big discussion. And I think even between us, we had a decent discussion. We're like, man, we're good. So I get it. I get her and the pressure to have children. It's real. And society just pushes you out there and they're like, why aren't you having kids? So my favorite part of the whole thing is there's a scene when she goes to have her woman bits checked. And I don't think I've ever seen a movie accurately portray the
woman bits,
the uncomfortable nature of having that done. And they do it here kind of maybe a little dramatic, over the top, but that sense of uncomfortableness, awkwardness, the pain, where they're like, here, you're gonna feel something, does this hurt? That whole sense is in this movie, and I loved that we finally get an accurate portrayal of that weird awkward feeling that you go through every year when you go get your woman bits checked.
I think y'all are just looking at that all wrong. I think y'all should be looking at it like, let's do this, and then if you get in the right mindset, you might be having a party while you're having it done.
I mean, anyways, I thought it was a good movie. I think it's an accurate portrayal of that
gynecological exams,
that societal pressure to have children. But you go through this whole thing with her, and it's interesting. Her father is a Jewish man, and his parents were Holocaust survivors, so her grandparents, and he's thinking of it, we've got to make sure that our people live on. After everything they did to us, we need to live on. So that's his focus. Her husband's very much like, whatever you want to do. All her friends are like, come on, join us, have babies with us. I'm like, well, that's a thing. So I think it's interesting. There was one really cool review that it's kind of like a modern Rosemary's Baby with a little bit of Babadook in it, about not all parents are good parents, so why do we want to keep procreating? I think from her father's perspective, there's something he says that comes back at the end of the film that whether you do or not, life continues. So whether she herself has one single child, life in the universe continues to exist, and life will continue to evolve with or without you. So then, was it really important that this one person has a child? Yes or no? Maybe not. I don't know. But there's also a mystery kind of whodunits within there of things that are happening behind the scenes at this fertility clinic. It's not what it seems, buddies. So watch out. Be careful. Boom, boom. It is a horror, psychological thriller movie.
Are you selling a car? You're throwing all kinds of sound effects and.
I'm just telling you.
All
There's
right.
some mystery. There is some horror. There is some.
There's some horrors.
Horror. Oh. There is some graphic elements and some blood at some point. So if that bothers you, it doesn't matter. Watch it anyway.
Then get over it.
Get over it, friends.
And where can we watch this movie?
This movie is on Hulu. It is available now. I'm going to watch it again this week. I really enjoyed it.
You won't be able to watch it this week because we have marathons again.
Okay. But I just think watch it. And I think if you are one of those people that's like, hey, friend, why haven't you had a baby? Watch this movie. If you're one of the people that doesn't want to have a baby, watch this movie. You will want to have one for sure after this.
Just don't have a kid if you don't want it.
I know, but it's easy to say that, but the pressures are real, babe.
No, they're not.
My dad told me that my whole family line is dying off because
Then say bye.
Then he wanted to question our relationship. Like, is there something wrong that y'all don't want to have kids?
There's so many things wrong, but that ain't one of them.
Then it's like, do you have money problems? Is that why you don't want to have kids? Money problems.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we have 2 kids. At that point, it was like football, soccer, cheerleading, whatever. Like, yeah, we don't have money.
None of that had anything to do with not having a kid. We discussed it.
And then it was also, ay, mija, is there something wrong that you can't have kids? Well, it's none of y'all business, even if it was. So it's nobody's business, but I'm just telling you, the pressures are real.
The pressure, I think, is self-inflicted because when somebody else asks, if you just got to be confident and stand the ground of what you want. And I think that's the problem with most people is they're too busy worried about pleasing everybody else and worried about not hurting somebody's feelings and this and that. Like, you see me, somebody asks me, I'm like, no, I don't care. I tell my parents all the time, they're like, well, you want to do this? I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Thanks. There's no back and forth about it. And I put the kibosh on it. You let things linger because you refuse to say no sometimes, or you're worried about. You're almost 85 years old and you're still fighting about your parents.
Watch this movie. It's really good, guys.
All right,
check it out.
Moving on. What else we got?
All right. You know what, guys? I had no idea what this movie was, but I'm so glad we watched it.
So we are big proponents of the DC animated films. We love most of them. To me, it's
here, Mickey.
To me, a lot of it is
do something.
Put it on the bottom part of it
because I want Mickey to hold it.
I know that, but if you do this, and Mickey
see
like this, kind of lean on Mickey's.
Anyway,
I enjoy them because a lot of them are stories I've read come to life. And I have fun her watching them because she's never read a lot of them. So she gets to experience it. And then if she really likes it, I can give her the graphic novel or the issues and you can experience the actual story. This is a little different animal. There is, in fact, a comic book for this. I don't know if it's following the same story or they just capitalized on it. But this is a team-up movie, if you will, of 2 different properties with Justice League X RWBY, Superheroes and Huntsman Part 1. Obviously, there's going to be a sequel.
RWBY.
But RWBY is an anime. I'm assuming that's the name of it.
It is RWBY.
Right, and I'm assuming
there's a TV series that looks like it's been going since 2012.
So I knew it was a big deal. I've heard of it, but I know nothing about it. I've never seen it. Don't know it. I'm kind of halfway tempted to go watch some of it.
I want to watch it now.
What is it on? Do we know? Is it on Netflix or something?
I'll
click on the poster and see what it says.
Okay. It doesn't.
We have to cut.
I'll go find it.
It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. But anyway, so this is a fusion of the Justice League animated stuff with the anime property. And the basic premise is the movie just jumps right into it. And you're finding the members of the Justice League have now been transported through like a dimensional portal or something into this new world. So it's not like saying they exist in the same universe.
Yeah.
A whole different universe.
Well, and that's part of the story is they all think they're on the Remnant, which is the RWBY planet. Right. And they're like, we're from planet Earth. They're like, there's another planet? Okay.
So in this case, because they get transformed there, it also transforms their age and the way they look
Yep.
to make them fit this world. And it's part of the story. It's not just a redesign so they can fit in with the anime style. It's part of the story.
Yeah.
You have Batman who actually has wings, and Superman's powers work differently, and you have Wonder Woman, you have Cyborg, who was it, Vixen,
with the tail.
So it's very interesting. And
She's the animal one.
Yeah,
she actually has like physically
has
like a tail, which is cool.
And I'll be honest, I had no interest in watching this because I saw it. I'm like, because there's a lot of, and I'm waiting for it to happen, but there's a big push with numerous comic series of Justice League and Fortnite as well. And so it's probably only a matter of time before it turns into some kind of a movie. But I'm not a big fan of when they cross properties all the time, although I do love the Batman Ninja Turtle stuff. But I'm going to stand corrected because this movie was awesome.
It was
I really had a good time with this thing.
I really did too.
And you hate anime.
I don't hate anime.
You do. You complain about it all the time.
But the cool thing with RWBY that I was reading, because I did my research, it is a mix of anime, but with what I would, I guess, consider Western or American animation styles. So it's not overly anime, because overly anime gets me a little like, ooh.
You don't like when they get the big guys like,
no, but I do. But that's what I liked about this one is they did it. And like when she was thinking bad words or saying bad words, she had like the cloud of bad thing, or they would do the eyes, or she would be like laughing and like sweating because she was lying. I mean, it was so cute.
And that was the stuff I thought was not going to make it not work with the Justice League, because you have a very specific vision of how the Justice League operate and look, and it's not usually comical, but it doesn't come across like that in this. It just fuses with what's happening. There's moments where like a word bubble or a mental thing pops up and disappears. Like one person is saying something and an arrow pops up on her head. She had an idea. That's what it was.
Yes.
Like, arrow pops up and goes away. Like blink and you'll miss it. It's so clever, and they all work together. That I really dug the designs.
I really want to go watch this other series, but it was so good. I'm telling you, DC Animation's always been where it's at for me. They're animated feature films, but this mixture and mixing into the other world and bringing in the anime style, but not too much, but enough that you get the flavor of it.
Yeah,
I have to do the fingers again. This was such a good.
You gotta do a different fingers because that's not gritty.
But that Batman actually becoming a bat.
Yeah,
was cool. He's got the wings and he's trying to figure out how to fly, and they all have different powers and trying to figure it out in the new world. And then the new characters to us, the RWBY people, are like, who are you? Where are you from? What is this
animation
Earth thing?
Looked really cool.
So
it was bright.
cool.
It was vibrant. It
Loved
was fun to watch. I never felt like I was being forced to watch a style that I don't want to watch. I felt like, hey, this is just a different world. A different artist took over the story, and I could enjoy it for what it was. And the promise of at least one more, being this one part one, and the way it ends, I'm hoping that it seems like we're going to go back into the Justice League style of the world and see these other characters change for that world.
Our animated style, which would be kind of cool.
That would be, if they don't do that, it's a horribly big.
I wonder then if they come here, will they be adults?
I don't know, but I would assume they probably were. But also, I'm interested to see how they change their looks. And if they don't do that, it's a horribly bad missed opportunity.
They need to. Because you would think they'd be now adults in our world.
But I'm just saying, if they don't
and have their style, but a little different. Yeah. Like here, maybe their powers will be different, or the weapons that the one girl uses, RWBY or whatever her name is. I don't know all the characters yet. Help me. But
we're going to call them RWBY.
RWBY.
Whether you like anime, you don't have to even know this other property to understand it. Obviously, if you're a fan, there's probably more Easter eggs. There's probably more fun things to it for you to enjoy. But I found myself thinking it was awesome. Had a blast. I didn't know how you were going to feel, but
yeah. Well, I'm normally good with their animated films, and then you're right. I'm hit and miss on anime. I'm going to be honest, but this was awesome. I really enjoyed this. I want to watch it again.
I used to be really
to
big
catch some of the little things that I missed.
I used to be really big into anime, but it was like Vampire Hunter D and Fist of the North Star, and of course Akira and Project A-ko and all these different ones I used to watch all the time. And then there's so much the stuff now that I sit and I'm like, man, that looks cool. I want to watch it. And I start watching, it just drags on, and it's dull and it's boring, and I just get annoyed by it now. I don't know why. I like Afro Samurai. You know Afro Samurai?
Yeah.
What was that word?
Yeah. It looks like these other episodes are just really short, little.
Well, maybe they're a little quick thing. Maybe it's an online show.
I don't know. It's Crunchyroll.
Anyway, Justice
But it's
League
got 12
X
seasons.
RWBY Superheroes and Huntsmen
Or
Part
something.
1 is available now on the Blu-ray, 4K,
Check it
DVD,
out.
etc.
You should watch it. Please watch it.
I'm
It's
sure it's
really
probably
good.
on HBO Max too by
It's
this point
really
because it's a
good.
Warner Brothers release. And come on, Marvel, get your animation
And
game up.
it's really a good story if you want to let your kids watch it about teamwork and working together and accepting each other. Teamwork makes the dream work. But it really is a good movie. It is about working together and using all the things that make you special to help the team.
My mom says I'm special.
You are. That's all.
She has to. I'm an only child, so no one else will take care of her.
All right, here we go. Next, tell me about this one.
Oh, so the next one is the famed Judy Blume novel from the late 70s, I believe, called Are You There, Guard? It's Me, Margaret. I had no interest in watching this movie. I went to a screening of it, mostly because I keep having to list a lot of screenings that happen on a Saturday. So I was like, hey, I can go to this one. And it was one of those that I really honestly thought it would be a movie you'd want to watch. And you were like, I don't really care about seeing that. So I went by myself. I'm this grown man watching this Judy Blume movie. Let me tell you, this movie is awesome.
Nice.
I loved this movie. It is it's what you expect from Judy Blume. It's like a young girl coming into age, teenage story. But it's also dealing with religion and cultures too, because the young girl's parents, one is per se Christian and one is Jewish. And even the parents had a falling out.
I'm remembering this from reading the story.
Have you read the story?
I think I have.
Because the lady that's Christian married the Jewish man, and her parents basically disowned her because of it. And the little girl is trying to figure out her place in the world because they moved to a new place, so she has these new friends, and then there's a competition of who's going to get their period first and who's going to get boobs, become women.
Don't want any of it.
Well, because they want to become women,
It's dumb.
Then dealing with, is she Jewish? Is she Christian? Does she want to be either? So there's the running gag of the Are You There, God? Is she always goes and prays. And Are You There, God? And say, it's me, Margaret. And then she prays, but she doesn't know if anybody's listening.
Right.
There's actually a great moment that I don't want to spoil at the end of the movie.
I'll watch it.
Involved in that same thing that's, I think, will make you cry. Because it's such a great, very subtle, if you don't pay attention, you can miss it. But it's so important to what's happened to get to that point. It's like the final scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where you see that and you're like, oh my God, the whole movie led to this kind of thing. And but it's Kathy Bates plays her grandmother, she's a Jewish woman in the movie. Who's the mom? I just went blank. What is the lady's name? Oh, that is a shark movie. That's not what I want to see.
Rachel McAdams.
Yes, Rachel McAdams is great as her mom. Her little friends are fun. They're kind of on the border of the leader of their little friend group is kind of a mean girl, but she's not mean. She's not a bad person, but she's kind of snooty and rude, whatever. And then it actually has, obviously now knowing that it probably was from this novel, that they then used it in Punky Brewster. It always cracked me up. I must increase my bust thing. I cracked me up. I was a huge Punky Brewster fan. And when Cherry shows up with the little machine thing, and she's doing the same thing, I died laughing every single time. So when they started doing that movie, I lost my crap because I didn't know that's where this was from. I thought it was from Punky Brewster. I've never read Judy Blume because I'm a boy. And so at the time, they weren't geared towards me. Nowadays, everybody reads everything. But when I grew up, it was like, this is not a book that I would be gravitating to.
Yeah.
I knew of the book. I know Judy Blume, and I know her importance and relevance to writing and the stuff that she's told. I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did.
Yeah, as a grown man.
Yeah, as a grown man, but I think that's because I can, as somebody who raised a daughter and lives with a woman and everything else.
Raising a daughter.
And being a fan of Punky Brewster,
teenage girls are the worst.
I could see it and I could understand it. And I felt this girl was like, oh, don't do that. This is not going to work right. But then there's funny things like, the whole bra situation and getting a bra and being measured for the bra. And I'm like, can't imagine how annoying it is, but also the pride in getting it for the first time. And then there's a moment where she gets her bra and she goes, how's it feel? She goes, I can't wait to get this thing off. And she's like, welcome to womanhood. And so it's that whole thing of the expectations of what you want versus the reality of what it really is. And it's just such a fun movie. It's funny, it's heartfelt. It's just really, really well done. I'm sad that it didn't do better at the box office. It seems like Evil Dead and Mario still dominate. This one's low on totem pole, but it's great. I think you'll love it.
I'll watch
and
it when we get it.
It reminded me of just those old movies of the 80s, of kids in the summer,
yeah,
hanging with their friends, and it takes place in the 70s too. So it keeps the period aspect of what it's supposed to be. No pun intended. But yeah. So anyway, I love the movie. It's in theaters now.
That's good. I'm glad, babe. Okay, I look forward.
Like I love the 20. It might be in a top 10 movie because I really enjoyed it.
What?
I was sitting there with my hot dogs. I'm laughing. That Margaret.
All right, we got one more to talk about. Oh, you do.
Well,
tell me about Peter Pan and Wendy that is now on Disney Plus.
So again, she was not a big fan of the Peter Pan story.
I don't like the Peter Pan story. I'm sorry to disappoint all of y'all. And I don't like the ride at Disney because I'm not waiting 3 hours.
I honestly think your only issue with Peter Pan, period, all stems back to that ride.
No, I really don't like the story.
Because I remember when we watched
when
they released the Peter Pan Anniversary Edition, like Gold Seal Edition or whatever, animated, when we rewatched it, and you were telling me you enjoyed it and this and that, and you liked it. And ever since your hatred for this ride, because it's such a pain in the ass to get on it, you've slowly dwindled more and more to hatred for Peter Pan. It's like my hatred for Mr. Peppermint.
The only good Peter Pan I like thing related that I liked is the movie with Johnny Depp.
Oh, Finding Neverland?
Yes.
Well, that's not even a Peter Pan movie.
Peter Pan-esque.
That's about the writer of Peter Pan. Like, I love the movie Hook, even though the movie Hook is not a great movie. I love that movie.
It's silly.
It is. It's ridiculous. It's chaos. That's probably why you don't like that movie.
That's probably why I don't like it.
That's probably why you don't like The Lost Boys either.
I don't like The Lost Boys. It's too much.
I honestly think you might have enjoyed this version.
Because
there's not a lot of
it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, there's not a lot of chaos with the Lost Boys. And they're probably one of my bigger issues. I actually enjoyed this movie. I heard people bashing it and saying it wasn't great. First of all, Jude Law is awesome as Captain Hook.
He looks pretty cool there.
He is really he's full in. Looks like he's having a blast. He's over the top. Exactly. The film really seemed to follow the guise of that animated feature, complete with the shadow running around and Peter Pan trying to chase his own shadow, and some of the dialogue and the looks and feels of it. It's got a little darker, prettier tone than I would have expected for the kind of build, but I think it works for this story. So instead of Peter Pan in this really bright green outfit, it's more of a dull green with everything else. And it's kind of dark, it's kind of heavy at times, but it's very much a swashbuckling film, with all the sword play. I thought the stuff they did with the crocodile and the clock and stuff was really well done, because the crocodile was massive.
Nice.
It made it more fantastical. If I had issues with it, the boy playing Peter Pan, I thought was good. I don't know. There was just something, and I know Peter Pan, depending on how you look at it, Peter Pan is a very unemotional character because he's kind of against everything. He just wants to break the rules and have a great time and have adventure. This kid never seemed like he had any energy to me. He was good in the role. I just felt like he was always very morose, very mundane the way he played it. The Lost Boys were kind of the same. Is there was an interesting twist because there's a couple of girls that are Lost Boys, and they even make a comment of, "Why are you the Lost Boys? You're not the Lost Boys." And they're just like, "So," and that's the extent of it. So it's not trying to. It is and it isn't. It's not trying to say, hey, we're being inclusion, but it is without making it a thing.
How is Tinkerbell in the movie?
I really liked her version. It's the same girl that's from Grownish and Blackish played Tinkerbell.
Okay.
And I was worried.
The smaller girl?
No, the older one that left the show and went to college.
Okay.
She's
the medium girl.
No, she's the oldest girl.
The oldest girl.
Yeah.
Well, in the show, she was medium aged. When she started and before she went to college.
She was always the oldest in the show.
Okay. Fine.
She was the oldest, and the brother, junior, and then the twins.
I have to go look at it.
And then the baby. But she's really good in it, and I'm always afraid when they cast somebody that's actually known for whatever reason that they start making Tinkerbell talk. Because Tinkerbell doesn't talk.
Correct. She shouldn't.
She has like one line in the movie, but it's like a little whispering into somebody's ear kind of line, like "Thank you for hearing me" kind of thing. But in this movie, they did a good job. It just made her make a little ding ding sounds, and I thought she was well executed.
Good for her.
She's a fairy, so I don't really care if she's black or white or whatever else.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because if you watch the full line of Tinkerbell movies, they're all over the spectrum, which I love.
And I think
please watch those. Those are good.
I think this is one of those stories that it's hard to really complain Like, I know there's this big uprising against Disney making live action versions of their films. I don't know why. I'm not saying they're all good, but I don't know why people have an issue with that. Like, why not do something new with your property now that you have the capabilities to do this stuff? You know, I think some of them have been great. I think some of them have been trash. But the ones that are usually trash because I didn't like the animated one either. You know, like, I like the live action version of Lion King, but I like the real Lion King. The Beauty and Beast, I didn't like either one of them because I don't like the other one either.
I like both of them.
You know, but I can recognize what they did and what they brought to life. And this. This one is, there's been so many versions of Peter Pan and Neverland, and, you know, whether it's a Broadway show or another TV series or another movie that's just Pan, you know, they put out. I think this is one of the better ones in relation to telling just that story from Disney. Because, you know, the Peter Pan story is not a Disney story. It's just they made a movie about it. And I think this is a good adaptation of their story and their animated come to life. I enjoyed it. Is it perfect? No, but it is what it is. If you like the animated movie, I can't see why you wouldn't like the live action. But clearly people I've seen some people praise it, how much they loved it. I've seen other people say this movie's unwatchable.
Okay.
But all those people are also probably the ones complaining that they're making live actions of anything.
Who knows? All right.
Who
well,
knows?
There you go.
It is currently on Disney Plus, as she said, streaming now.
All right.
What I would like to say, which I haven't got to show you the trailer, I'll show you later. But Disney Plus has a new series coming out called American Born Chinese.
Oh.
And it's based on a graphic novel, if I'm not mistaken, or a series that looks phenomenal. It reteams Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan.
Oh my gosh.
Along with a couple of young people. And it's martial arts, supernatural kind of stuff. It looks amazing.
Oh, I'm going to be so excited here. Okay. It looks great.
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
I
love to see cultural stories and learn about other cultures because, you know, for me, I find out we're actually very much alike.
All the other cultures?
For me, culturally, we are alike in many ways.
Yeah.
I don't know about white folk, but that's okay.
We have culture.
Do you?
Yes. I think it's just seen in different ways because you're seeing the stuff that y'all basically, a lot of places that they classify as culture. This is my opinion. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but stuff that you look at is like, this is our culture. If you were living there, it's just your day to day. Where some of the stuff here, we're in America where there are so many cultures now infused into this country. Yeah. If I did something that's just, hey, the way I do it, it's like, well, that's just American white people, the way you do it. If y'all suddenly have a party because someone turns 15, it's because it's your culture. Like, if I have a birthday party because I'm 15, it's like, you're just having a birthday party. It doesn't mean it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think it's the perception.
Maybe
I'm not saying that suddenly I have more things than anybody else. I just think there's this weird perception of the cultures from other countries. Because, like I said, if you're somewhere else and you're doing the thing that's there, they don't run around like, this is our culture. They're like, this is us. Normal. This is us all the time, you know. And I guess our culture is chicken fried steak. That's what
I was going to say.
That's what you always say anyway. You're always like, well, at least y'all have chicken fried steak.
I do want a chicken fried steak right now, though, with some mashed potatoes and cream corn.
I can't have that today. But I did think the other day I was going to suggest going over there and have dinner one day on my cheat days. So, on my cheat day, so when I'm done with my hoe, we can go have dinner together.
Wow, that's not at all.
See what I did there?
No.
Anyway.
All right. Tell me about what's coming out on the Blu-ray or the DVD.
It's kind of a small week. There's a movie called The Ritual Killer with Morgan Freeman and Cole Hauser coming out.
That sounds fun.
A movie called On the Edge, which looks like a foreign film. I don't know what that is. 80 for Brady is coming to Blu-ray and DVD.
Oh, like On the Edge is actually between life and death is the actual title. Entre la vie y la morte.
What? It says On the Edge.
I know, but
you can try to
the title in English is the French, between life and death. That sounds much better.
Anyway.
What? Deep Impact.
Yeah, Deep Impact is getting a 4K release.
Nice.
Have you even seen it?
Yeah, we watched it together.
Here's the thing about this. I'd like to share with our audience and how my wife does not listen to me.
What?
Because I asked you when it came in, I said, have you seen Deep Impact? You go, I don't know what that is. And I said, it's a movie with Morgan Freeman and Téa Leoni and Robert Duvall. And you're like, yeah, I don't know what that is. Now you see and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see that again.
It's let me check. It's the one I'm thinking.
Movie.
Where things are falling. And
I'm aware. I know what it is. You're the one that told me because this happens on almost every conversation. I say something to her and she basically is dismissing me is what she's doing. Yeah. She'll say, yeah or no or
And
answer
don't
my
they want to
question.
go blow it up or
Then she'll
something?
answer my question and all this stuff, and then the next conversation she doesn't remember we ever had it off conversation.
Okay.
Anyway, it looks like the original Skyline is also getting a 4K release.
That I've not seen.
Yes, you have.
Have I?
My God.
What is
man.
that one?
Skyline is that? Well, maybe you haven't. That's that one where it's the aliens are attacking, and people are fighting in that skyrise building. They've made like sequels. It was like
Oh wow.
Beyond Skyline and Skylines.
No.
You may not have actually seen. I think I saw
Yeah,
the
no,
theater
I
by
don't think
myself,
I've
but
seen it.
I have them all. I like the Sky.
But I like the guy, so I'd watch it.
Yeah, I like the Skyline franchise.
Okay.
And actually, I've interviewed the director, and we talk on Twitter a lot. And hopefully he's making part 4, so we'll see what happens. That's pretty much the bigger stuff.
All right, coming out this week, guys. It's already May. Can you believe it? We are into May.
Week.
So coming out on Tuesday, because there's a new Transformers movie. We have the new Transmutators movie.
Is it from the Asylum? Or do we know?
I don't know. It just, where would I find that?
I'll
Yeah, go look up Transmutators. It's basically big alien war machines are coming and protecting because another group of invaders are coming to the Earth. So a video demand and digital Transmutators, not to be confused with Transmorphers, which is the first one. So
I don't know. This is being put out by Samuel Goldwyn Films.
Nice. I'm excited. Also, there is a Fathom event happening, I believe, tomorrow, so Monday and Tuesday. It's called A Father's Heart. It is a documentary based on Joseph of Nazareth, the stepfather, per se, of Jesus. It's really interesting. They actually went there. They did research all this time just to find out really who was Joseph. We hear so much about Mary and Jesus. So it's really interesting.
Joseph has found his place when somebody screams. They're like, Mary, Jesus, and Joseph.
So anyway, it's called A Father's Heart. It looks really interesting. Also coming to video demand and digital. This is still Tuesday. Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star.
Yes. I know about this.
It's a father and daughter who get tangled up in a group of mercenaries, and they're trying to find a way to survive. Also coming on video demand and digital, movie called The Ancestral. This one looks really interesting. I think we saw the trailer for this. These are these people that they inherited this old property. They go out there. Remember, the kids or the daughters find some secret cave or whatever, and then they come back and they start acting weird. It's that movie. It's the one where the daughters start seeing weird things, and it says, not everything in the house is what it seems. Okay. Also coming out on the line, a movie called On the Edge.
Is that the one I just said?
Yeah, On the Edge. This one, it's yes, On the Edge between life and death. It's Hugo. He's this man who years before had seen his son fall off of a train platform, and now he's off to investigate because he doesn't believe it was an accident. So that's where we're at. It has to deal with criminals and the subway and all this stuff in Spain or Brussels. Okay, this one's interesting. Something called Secret Space UFOs Fast Talkers. This is a documentary based on the UFO sightings that are NASA related encounters. So they're actually not just random people seeing stuff, but NASA related encounters. They went back to the research that began in the 70s of these UFO phenomenon, and interviewed NASA personnel, pilots, military persons to get all this documentary footage for Secret Space UFOs. All right, coming out on Wednesday, the Netflix movie of the week.
That's
Extremely
new. That's old.
Well, I don't know why it says Netflix.
That's the one with Zac Efron.
Okay, well,
where he's Ted Bundy.
It's Netflix. I don't know why it says that. No, because it's a different one. That's why. Extremely wicked and shockingly evil and vile.
That's the one with Zac Efron. It says right there.
Zac Efron. But
why is that on there?
I don't know why it says it's coming to Netflix.
That came out years ago.
It says chronicled from the perspective of his girlfriend this time. This is.
Are they doing a second?
Chronicle of Ted Bundy from the perspective of Liz, his long-term girlfriend who refused to believe.
Well, that was kind of in the movie. Let me look.
Look it up.
What is it?
Extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile.
That's 2019 film.
Well, I don't know why it's coming out to Netflix then. Okay, well, who knows? It says it's coming to Netflix. Well, I don't know why. All right. Coming out on Thursday, the Peacock movie of the week. This one is called Bupkis, and it's actually told in parts and series. It's I think a couple of part series. This is a fictionalized, heightened version of Pete Davidson's life.
Oh,
so
I can't wait for this TV series.
Yeah, it's a limited series coming to Peacock.
And here's what's a big thing about this: he got Joe Pesci to come out of retirement to play his dad.
What?
Yeah, Joe Pesci. Because Joe Pesci came out and did that movie with The Irishman, which was the first movie he had done in years. And I've been waiting to see this. I didn't realize it was this week. But yeah, he's playing his dad in it. I can't wait.
Cool. So it's coming to Peacock. Okay, coming out on Friday. There is a little movie called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Nobody's gonna watch that trash.
I would suggest that you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 before you watch 3. However, please tell me what else we need to watch.
So we're going to dive deep, since this is the final Guardians of the Galaxy film. I'm assuming some people will die. That's just my speculation. We have not seen it.
I think they would need to at this point.
Well, we haven't seen it, and James Gunn has jumped ship to DC now, so this is his final film. Big props. He still promotes it, and he still loves the movie. But basically, we're going full into the Guardians. So we're going to watch Guardians 1 and 2, then Infinity War and Endgame, because that does affect them directly.
It affects them.
I think we probably should watch Thor Love and Thunder, even though they're only at the beginning, because I don't really need to, but I may watch it just give me a choose to watch it again.
Yeah.
And then I want to rewatch all the Groot animated things, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
That was a good one.
Because there's some little things that happen in that too. So
yes, you need to. There's some relationship things that happen in that movie.
So I honestly think, knowing James Gunn, I think there's going to be elements that across the board that come out of everything. So I just want to be fully prepared,
agreed,
fresh, and we're a fan of marathons in this house.
I do. We like them.
So we love when something's going to come out. We don't even care if we like the movie. Give me a reason to watch a previous movie or a sequel of everything.
Yes, I'm getting ready to watch Fast and Furious all over again, and it's going to be super fun and ridiculous.
Well,
it's all about family.
I just posted. It's so annoying how many times they say family in that movie.
Especially this is now. Brazil.
It's such a mockery joke now.
At the last movie, I was making fun. I'm like, what's left? I was like, Fast and Furious in space, and then that happened. Oh gosh.
Well, one thing I'll give them credit for the new one is it's harking back to part 5. So we're wrapping it up because we're getting this movie and one more, and it's all. And I
wonder if they even realized what they were creating and how.
No, when the first movie came out, it wasn't meant to be kind of a one and done, and then nobody expected it to be a massive hit. And then Vin Diesel didn't want to do the second one, or they weren't going to give him money, or whatever it was. So then they made the one with Paul Walker and Tyrese. Then they decided to screw it. We're going to make just different movies with the Fast and Furious brand when they made Tokyo Drift.
Right.
Now they can just make any car movie they want and slap Fast and Furious on it like National Lampoon.
But it is now all connected, which went back, right?
They talked because Vin Diesel wanted his... it's funny is Riddick is the reason Vin Diesel is still part of this franchise, because he wanted the rights to Riddick back. So he agreed to appear in the after credit or the end scene of Tokyo Drift in that race. Then that became a hit, and then they rebooted it, brought everybody back, and now they brought characters from Tokyo Drift and the characters from Part 2, and now it's just sprung into its own massive franchise.
Huge, because you don't expect like a Charlize Theron to be.
No, now everybody wants to be in that franchise.
Fast and Furious, but it's like
you got Helen Mirren, Rita Moreno's now going to be in it.
I'm just like, what? And then they showed some clips of him and Helen Mirren in the scene, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And then a Jason Statham and The Rock. There's some big people in this thing, and I'm just like what has happened?
The thing that bums me out, I'm still crossing my fingers. Maybe they'll work it out. But Dwayne Johnson left The Rock, left the franchise because he had a falling out with Vin Diesel and I think Tyrese and a lot of people. Something about unprofessionalism and things, and it made him mad. And he honestly kind of came in and helped save the franchise. He wasn't the only reason the franchise got better. They fixed the tone of it. But that's one of those missing pieces that I hope somehow in the 10th movie that they can somehow bring him back and work something out to say, you know what, let's get him back in there to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
But we also got our spinoff Hobbs and Shaw, so who knows if we're going to get another one of those yet. They set up a lot of stuff, so we should get it. you know, but who knows?
Okay, so all that happened because Friday, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Make sure you watch everything to be prepared.
Yeah.
Also coming out in theaters, if you don't like Marvel movies or you prefer a romantic movie, go watch the movie Love Again.
And what's wrong with you if you don't?
Well, because there are probably ladies out there who don't care about Marvel.
And that's why y'all have no friends.
But this movie, Love Again, is basically a woman loses her fiance, but she continues to send messages to his phone. And then the phone number gets reassigned unbeknownst to her, and another man is starting to receive all these messages, and he decides he wants to meet her. So it's based kind of on the real life story. I don't know if you saw the one where the girl lost her dad, and she would always text him and send him messages about, "Hey Dad, this is what I'm doing today," or "Hey Dad, I got into college." And one day a man actually replied back, and he's like, "I lost my daughter recently, and your texts have meant so much to me." And I'm just like, cry.
Yeah, going back to what you said earlier, I see nothing about why they're promoting that movie.
That Ted Bundy thing. Okay, so
it's
ignore.
a great movie.
Sorry. And then if this is near you, it's now expanding the release of the movie RMN. It is a man working in a rural village in Transylvania. That tells me all I need to know.
Transylvania 65000.
I'm thinking, I want to suck your blood. But okay.
You know that?
No.
You don't know Transylvania 65000?
No. We'll have to go watch it. But anyways, he goes there. He finds his son is acting strange and suffering from irrational fears, and everything's just really awkward and unsettling to him. So he begins to investigate and finds out that in the city there's a big issue and conflict and resentment and issues happening in this community. So we're going to see what's up with that. And that's it for this week. So there's a lot happening.
See?
Oh my gosh. No, I've never seen this. Let's go watch it. Who's in that?
Jeff Goldblum, Ed Begley Jr., Carol Kane, Gina Davis.
I like me some Gina
Norman
Davis.
Phil. Well, you know Gina Davis and what's his face?
Jeff
Goldblum were married for a long time.
Oh, okay.
They were on The Fly together too.
I liked The Fly.
Before she was with Steven Seagal for a long time.
Huh.
I think she married Steven Seagal as well.
Okay.
And suppose it was an abusive relationship. Anyway.
All right.
What else you were saying?
Contests.
The contests. The Contessa. All right, so we have a few still. Some of them are stuff. We've got some new ones fixing to come up, but some of it has to come here, and they sent us some more copies of some stuff. So we still have 4K copies of Rebel Without a Cause. We have copies of movie Champions we talked about today. So if you want something new, we have this sad one that has no picture. We have 4K
copies.
You
go click on the contest button.
4K copies. That should be something you put at the end.
Well, I'm reminding people.
No, it's because I had to remove something at the last minute.
I'm reminding people. Click
copies of Cool Hand Luke on 4K, as well as Unwelcome, which we'll be talking about in the next week or so.
That looks really cool.
And Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Last Dance.
We had the one was got removed is we actually had 2 screening passes to go watch Margaret or Polite Society, so those have ended. I have potentially 2 or 3, one pretty big one coming up. I'm hoping this week. But until I get stuff in my hands or until I have an email from them that says, "Hey, let's start this," then I won't post it because I don't want to lie to people.
Okay.
So if it's like, yeah, you can do it. And then a lot of times the correspondence happens months ago. So like somebody says, "Hey, here's an announcement of something that's coming out in 3 months." Then they're like, "Would you like to do a giveaway?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But until they come back and say, "Yes, you can do the giveaway," or it gets in my house, I don't usually post it because
we want to make sure
sometimes they forget
to give to you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Make sure you check out the website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Click on the contest button for free stuff. Also, go find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Hive. Go like, go share, go thumbs up. Go subscribe. You can turn off notifications if it bothers you, but go subscribe. That's how we get more free stuff for you.
And don't forget, this week is May the 4th be with you. So on May 4th, there'll be all kinds of new Disney stuff coming out, new merchandise, and the new theatrical release. It's not a new release, but they've re-released Return of the Jedi in theaters. It's only there until, I believe, Tuesday. So it might go a little bit longer.
Not even till the 4th?
I don't know.
That's
Some
bizarre.
people said it was just Tuesday. Maybe it goes to the lady at the theater told me it was going to be there all week. But other news stories, I said it was like second. So I want to. I'm just trying to figure out when we can.
Right now.
We can, but I think the next showing's at 10.
Oh.
which I'm fine with that, but you're not. I thought about leaving tonight and go to watch it at 10 o'clock tonight, but just get a chance to watch it. And what's funny is that's one of the ones I would want to watch in the big screen more than anything, because that's also the very first Star Wars movie I ever saw in the theater. So, but I've seen it in theater again when they did the special edition releases.
Yeah.
So
well.
Anyway, if you want to see some Star Wars, check it out on the big screen.
All right, friends. We will see you next week.
Peace out, dogs.